Okay, so the next part of this scheme of learning that I'm going to give a little bit of an overhaul is the last section of my scheme of learning. So as you will probably know, these last few weeks of term is all about completion, and the lessons that I've been given here are very hit and miss. There's not much content here. So it's sort of made me panic in the last few weeks of what I'm going to do for the last part of the scheme of learning. So it's quite a difficult time because a lot of the learners are still working on their assignments. So it does make your lessons quite difficult to work around to make sure that you're including everybody. So I came up with a bit of an idea that I've released to my students today actually, and it went down really well. So if I go back to my new scheme of learning, I have decided to create a zoo project. This gives the opportunity for those people that are still working on assignments to catch up. Those people that have finished working on assignments can actually do something that isn't just another task. It's quite a fun activity, and it really touches on the employability skills for the industry. So what I've got the students to do is to get into groups, and I've been pretty flexible about the groupings. They can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, but the work does need to reflect the amount of people they've got in their group. So what I've asked them to do is to basically create a platform. Again, this is good for the digital skills, creating online tours and wakelets. These are some skills that I've personally learned from doing this level 5 apprenticeship. So I'm now putting them into use with my students. And like I say, it went down really well today. So they can choose what platform they use. I had some people decide they were going to do the 360 tour, which was ThingLink. Some people were doing wakelets. I had some doing PowerPoint presentation, and what their task is to showcase an area at Merriswood. So at Merriswood we have different areas. We've got a desert room, we have a tropical room, we have a nocturnal area and a husbandry room, and I've asked them to do a bit of a show on it. So a bit of an online tour where they will do a talk on 2 animals at least. They have to provide a leaflet for that area, and they also have to create some new signage for the area as well. So it's quite a big project. I'm giving them the freedom to choose what animals they want. They just have to present it, and they're going to do that over the next 3 weeks, so 3 or 4 weeks. So what I've done is given them 1, 2, 3, and then on the last week of term they will showcase their area to the class, and this is improving their skills, because I felt that the scheme of learning was lacking the presentation side of zookeeping. Obviously, being in a zoo, you have to do a lot of shows in front of the public. So with these, particularly my cohort at the moment, they are from that generation of COVID. So it was something that was a little bit daunting to them. And initially I was going to get them to do just a talk on the animals, but actually I think having that ability to sort of detach yourself from the task and just do a voiceover, they felt much more comfortable with that. So like I say, it was nice to see them, quite excited to do this. So in terms of inclusivity, any learner with extra needs needs to make sure they're aware of those needs, and to check them thoroughly around the class, particularly those ones with diverse needs, and make sure that they're aware of any apps or software for read aloud when they're doing their research. Again, when you're doing your research on animals, you have to, they have husbandry guidelines, and they're quite lengthy documents, but they've got some really good information in. So those students that do actually struggle with reading, I think they're really beneficial. So that would be part of the lesson. I would actually put that into my lesson and show the whole class how to do that. So the employability skills are ticked. There's obviously typing, writing and speaking. And the attributes that will tick off is the confidence and the resilience, making sure they've got respect for each other, spreading out the workload equally, and making sure that they are respectful. Through the feedback. So there, some of my changes. There's a complete overhaul. I have this whole blank area to do. My plan is to follow the specification nicely. So after I've done legislative requirements, I will then move on to record keeping, and then we'll go on to maintaining the health through accommodation and fighting disease. So I'm going to try and structure it a bit more orderly, but I will still use some of the ideas, because there were some really nice ideas in the scheme of learning from before, and there's a lot of content that I can work on. So I'm actually looking forward to having a good change around with this. So thanks for listening.